Hello, Merci. It's very nice to have you with me here today.
I'm glad to, Andre, to hear what you want to discuss with us.
Thank you.
Although Rokama and Virgil are not here, I'm sure they will also have access to the video later. And I'll share with them whatever we discuss.
Very good. Very good. So I'm going to make sure I can watch my screen to see if she comes on. So I'll be able
Yeah.
to.
Yes, I'm also looking at my email, but no message yet.
All right.
Mhm.
Well, I'm the director of Global Strategy of Nonviolence, and I'd like to present an emergency plan because the world is in trouble and our children's lives are in jeopardy from the wars and climate change. We need women leaders now. And I'd like to tell you about the plan and how I got started, and then ask you a few questions and give you a brief presentation about the plan and creating political power. And then after that, we can discuss a request to Zoom with a celebrity from California, a TV celebrity that is connected to all the activist movie and TV stars in the United States. And then a discussion and question time so we can get to know each other and ask each other questions. So I believe that Peace Women Partners is the key to changing the world. When I saw the name, I was immediately enthused. And then your slogan, Women Say No to War. That's the answer to creating peace. So it's time for women to take the world stage. And women leaders that can make it happen. And I get excited working on the plan. So, Merci, when you first started your webinar, you had stated that there's an urgency, and that's why I contacted you. And so, wanted to ask you a couple questions about other women that you may know that that are in the peace movement, or, for example, do you know Naileen Heiser? She's the former director of UNIFEM.
No. We have not been working directly with women in the United Nations.
Because she's from the Philippines.
Again, what's her name?
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Naileen or Nolene Heiser.
Uh, Not familiar, but I
Oh,
could look.
okay.
I could look her
Do
up.
you know? I know that during the Yellow Revolution, there was the International Fellowship of Reconciliation was very strong part of it. I saw in my research. Do you know anyone from the fellowship, or, for example, Father Blanco from the 7-day Holy Week fast? Do you know any of those people by any chance?
Yellow Revolution, are you talking about
Your this
people power in EDSA? Are you referring to that?
Yes, to your the revolution in 1986 and the
Oh, yeah, but actually, there were so many groups, so many leaders, and
oh
but generally we knew each other. But I mean, so many of them.
oh
I
well,
mean, so many.
okay. In any case, my objective is to network, and for the past 20 years has been to network with women leaders from around the world, and that's why I'm here today, because I'm the emergency plan is one step away from beginning, and it's dependent upon women leaders coming to the forefront. So I'd first like to mention a little story about the future. And in 100 years, in 2124, the people will celebrate the 100-year anniversary of a planet united and dedicated to helping others because of one action, the starting point. Women rose up as the peacemakers to stop war and militarism via a new global peace movement led by women, promoting nonviolence as the doctrine for all societies and countries. So I'm here to ask you and Dr. Rukama and Ms. Suarez to join me to promote women in nonviolence. And the plan is ready now. It's not exclusive to women, but it's for women to lead the way. And non-governmental women leaders would issue a call to women, a worldwide unity campaign to reach into every household with the olive branch to promote a global movement of nonviolence for the children. And there are specific plans to affect the wars in Ukraine and Gaza. I believe that the wars are a disaster. There may be no solution, but I believe the power of women and nonviolence will win. And so I started in 9/11 in 2001, and the US was going to use the military to resolve the problem. I thought it was the worst mistake they could make. Also, my father at the time had Alzheimer's, and my stepmother was the caretaker, and I saw her strength. And so I began to write about what was happening in the family, and the story needed some spice. So I developed it into a woman's peace movement, that the main character of the story became the leader of a peace movement. And that started me on my quest. And I have a business background as a manager in country club and hotel restaurants. I was entrepreneurial, and I want to apply that knowledge to the peace movement. So I joined right in the beginning, Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. So I've been a member for 22 years. And right in the beginning, I was fortunate to meet many, many prominent people. And I met Helen Caldecott from Australia. And she inspired me because she started her movement, her organization, Women's Actions to Abolish Nuclear Weapons, for the purpose of with women leading the way. And so that inspired me. And then all kinds of amazing connections started to happen. And now one last step remains. And I presented the plan to UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres' staff. And I'm planning to return to meet with Guterres to set the last step in motion. And my presentation coming up now will show the plan and the power to start the movement. So it's time to go beyond the norm. And I'd like to take about 5 to 10 minutes to present the plan. Do you have any questions before I begin that segment?
Not so far.
Oh, great, thank you. This plan has always been designed for women to lead. I'm a facilitator and an architect, so to speak, and a developer. And so my function is to get the movement and 8 segments started and concentrate on promotion and fundraising and organizing. And there are 2 main segments. It's an anti-war movement and a global philanthropic foundation. That's the constructive segment that Gandhi recommended, so that the people can see that something good is happening, which is vital. And the plan's designed to unite the people, all the movements, the climate movement and the peace movement first, then other movements, example, the youth labor indigenous people, and unite all the religions and spiritual organizations and mayors and community leaders in every village, town, and city in every country under one umbrella: nonviolence. It will be the largest people movement ever seen, the yellow revolution every day, everywhere, and then include and implement all the brilliant plans that already exist by peace organizations. But first, we have to unite. Start with uniting the women and then invite the men, because men are encouraged to participate. And this is for everyone. And we start with announcing that the peace and climate movement are uniting. And it will include the largest marketing plan of promotion and outreach ever devised. So I have the strategy to begin and sustain the movement. It's a business plan, and it includes plans to raise millions and millions of dollars, because there's never any money for peace.
True.
We have to think big, Merci.
Yeah,
And use hyperbole. So this is all about women leadership, and it's all about power, the power of nonviolence and women together, power of unity, and the power of the people. So the power also of simplicity and brevity, because this isn't an emergency, and we have to begin now. So in one action, everything will come together from a business standpoint. The Secretary General then must be involved. His power is required, because I'm asking the Secretary General to assemble an emergency peace meeting of women leaders, philanthropists, civil society experts, and the media. I've set up the parameters to unite all the movements. I have connections to movie, TV, and music celebrities. And I've networked with women leaders from around the world in preparation for this moment. And now I need you, Merci, and Dr. Rukama, and Ms. Suarez, to help enable the strategy to make this happen. The presentation will highlight specific women leaders. And I'm going to share my screen.
okay.
There are 3 women leaders that can move mountains and enlist their entire constituencies. Beatrice Finn was the former executive director of ICANN, and she can enlist the entire anti-nuclear movement. Naomi Klein can enlist the entire climate movement. And Alice Walker, an author and activist in the United States, can enlist all the people. But not just those 3 women, also Karen Armstrong, the founder of the Charter of Compassion. She can unite all the religions and the spiritual leaders to promote this movement. She's already united them. A woman in the United States, Pat Mitchell, is the former CEO of Public Broadcasting System and she's the founder of Connected Women Leaders for the Climate Movement. So she's already bringing women leaders together. They have an amazing and enormous organization. And Osprey Oriole Lake, she's the founder of Women's Earth and Climate Network. We can. And her quotes are fantastic. I love them. It's time for a fierce, loving call for a global women's movement. We are in the fight for our lives. There's no doubt about it. The only way is to lock arms and stand in solidarity. And Vandana Shiva from India. her quote is wonderful. Nonviolence, in my view, is stronger than violence. Stronger because it builds the resilience of the spirit, and no power on earth, no force on earth can crush the spirit. These are the words that excite people, and it will enthuse them to join. And Chair of the Elders, Mary Robinson. She shows the urgency. We are faced by a gathering storm of extinction level consequences, and time is running out. We cannot continue with business as usual. Merci, the plan I'm promoting is not the usual plan. And one of my favorite, Betty Williams, the former, she's passed away. She was the Nobel Peace Laureate from Ireland. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have that lined up right at the moment. I'll come back to it.
Okay.
So some of the main points of the plan are, the plan's designed to save lives. That's what is the incentive and the impetus for people to join. And helping others. The story I mentioned in the beginning, it's about now the whole world coming together to work together for humanity, helping others. And promote a new narrative of committing to nonviolence and committing to helping others. And create trust and respect among nations and people. How can we expect to have peace if we don't create trust and respect? Right now, everything's dividing us. And this is a message for the children, to socialize the children, all in one package. Promoting and teaching and educating about nonviolence. It's about creating change in ourselves and our cultures of violence. We have to set a precedent for all time. So it's the message women will give, not me, but women around the world, women leaders coming to the forefront to announce, and then men to promote as well, but women in the beginning, that this is our moment. It's a time to take the world stage. It's time to make a difference. And it's time for women to make history. So I mentioned that the plan has been presented to Secretary General's staff. And now I believe that we're 3 meetings away from beginning. The first meeting with the Secretary General, and I'll be asking him to assemble an emergency peace meeting. And that's the second meeting. And at that meeting, we'll be asking the women leaders to see that all the material and all the mechanisms are in place for them to be successful. The funding, the media, experts are all there. That's the business plan. And then they'd have to make a decision. Are we going to work on this project? We need it right now. And the message is to say, yes, now with this business plan, it'll change the world. And all they have to do to start it is announce that the movement is coming. And it could start as early as May or June. It probably will be longer, but this is an emergency plan and there's evidence that it can start right away. I have an outline of all the main issues of why this can be successful. And so I won't go through all of these right now, but we can ask, but now when people are looking at the video, they can stop it and look at it and read through it. Here's page 2. The plan includes the operating system and structure. There's where the value is right now. It's like in computers, there's the software and the hardware, but without the operating system, when IBM first started, they had DOS. became MS-DOS. Without DOS, there was no computer. This is the operating system for peace. There's 8 major segments: the global movement of nonviolence, a call to women, and then there'll be special and new global peace negotiations led by women. The Philanthropic Foundation will be led by women. There's a new global funding plan, a local plan, local sponsors, and of course, men promoting nonviolence. I have an outline for all the steps to start the movement. And the plan first, the main in the beginning, the startup, the announcement that I mentioned, and the special catalyst is planned. An awareness campaign that announces the movement is coming every day around the world. Originally, it was supposed to be, when I was proactive, this plan, it was supposed to be a 1-year awareness campaign. Now we're in an emergency situation. It can be quick and fast. And then the first main event of 24 events in the first 2 years. In every village, town, and city, the people will be asked to participate. And they can't participate in every one. And this way, with 24, they know what's coming in advance. They see that they can participate at some point. And now, with all the women leaders coming together with the announcement, the first would be from all the women Nobel Peace Laureates. They already united and called the Nobel Women's Initiative, especially Nobel Peace Laureate Lema Gbowee, who stopped a war in Liberia using Gandhi nonviolence and women from the Christian and Islamic communities. And I mentioned Beatrice Finn and Naomi Klein and Medea Benjamin, this very powerful woman and brilliant. She knows what's going on in the world from Code Pink. And then all the other groups would be asked to announce the movement is coming. Then there's time before the first event to get all the elements in place. And it's ferocious love to defend our children. This is the motivation for the whole world to unite. This is a flyer from Facebook from Moms Demand Action in the United States to stop gun violence, because in the United States, it's a big problem. There'll be proclamation, a declaration, and a vision statement. The proclamation says, we, with respect, we, the women of the world, ask all men to join us to proclaim that we will not allow war in the world, and we will intervene with every nonviolent means possible to prevent it or stop it. And we do this for the children. I've networked with women leaders from around the world. They were all busy doing their own work. Now, this emergency plan is designed to reach out to them all, for them all to join. And when they see it happening, other women leaders promoting it, they'll all join. As I mentioned, there's a budget of millions of dollars, and I've broken it into its compartments to show the philanthropists that there's reasons why this will be successful. And I have identified different segments of our society that will be interested in participating in and contributing the funds. And the biggest example was for the climate movement. Here, prominent Princess Kate and Prince William from the United Kingdom are promoting the climate crisis and climate change. And this article in the Boston Globe illustrates that all the wealthy people want to be involved. And that's the plan for peace. And a great example of opposites coming together, because this plan is designed to bring people with opposite opinions together. These two individuals are billionaires, and they teamed up to stop war. What better example than these two men coming together? And now it's time for women to come together to make it happen.
Well, a very grand plan.
Yes, thank you. So I have a couple of specific elements to ask you about and to mention on how to proceed next. Do you have any questions on, because some of the things, as you said, this is designed, I've tried to think as big as possible, and it can even go further. I see it as just going on and on and on. And because it's an emergency, I tried to be proactive, Merci. Last year, I had the Women Wage Peace in Jerusalem, and the Charter for Compassion, and the International Peace Bureau, Rainer Braun.
Rainier, yeah.
Yeah, Rainer Braun, and Pat Mitchell, who I mentioned in my presentation, and also people from the climate movement and people from the global South. And I was attempting to be proactive to get them to start this movement before the disaster struck. And now the disaster is here. The war in Gaza and the war in Ukraine are disasters. They're tearing apart the format of our civilization. So in one action, I'm hoping that the Secretary General can be the one to stimulate this action. That's what I study him since he's been the Secretary General, and that's what he wants, is he wants to be behind a peace movement. I now have an example of, I mentioned that I'm connected with a TV star, and I'd like to ask if you and Dr. Rukama and Ms. Suarez would invite specific individuals in a Zoom meeting, and you to join in a specific meeting with a woman named Mimi Kennedy. I'm going to send you a letter, an email with information about who she is.
Mm-hmm.
She was a TV celebrity. And I'm asking all of us to come together in another Zoom meeting with Mimi Kennedy, because she's connected to all the women, not just women, women and men, artist activists from Hollywood. And she told me she wants me to create a Zoom meeting with other women leaders. So I'd like to ask you to do a little research and investigate and connect with Naylene Heiser. I met her in 2005 when she was the director of the organization at the UN for funding women. And then also I want to ask Dr. Rukama if she knows Gila Svirsky. She was one of the founders of Coalition of Women for Peace in Israel, and also Women in Black. And all of us come together. Was that sound something that would be of interest to you? For the next step, it would take a little bit of work, but
it's for promoting women leadership. Although I do have some practical questions in mind, but of course, okay, please continue as you're still explaining.
Okay.
And also want to ask me questions?
Yes, so, well, there's three different ways that this I see could happen. One is through the Secretary General. And so I need one woman right now to join me to go to the Secretary General. And then one possibility of this happening is just having Beatrice Finn or Naomi Klein join and bring everyone together. But I don't think that that's going to happen now because they're all busy doing things. So that's where the Secretary General. So I'd like to ask you to, because I know you're busy, ask you to join me to help get this started. And so you don't have to spend a lot of time now on organizing it. I've been working hard to get it all ready to go.
I have a question.
Yes.
Uh, are you in the process, or do you intend to organize secretariat support for this work, or maybe you already have some assistants? How do you intend to go through the mechanics of?
Yes. Yes, I am searching and working have an administrative staff. So I'm looking for people to join, absolutely. I have a list of people to be on the board of directors of the foundation. I'm not starting any of that until I have the women leader, until there's evidence that this is ready to start. So I'm very close. But that was a good question because yes, if you know people that want to be involved, and it's perfect for up and coming leaders that are looking for a platform for them to take charge of, because it's not just one leader. And many of these leaders that I mentioned, they're not going to stop what they're doing now. So
That's the point.
it's
Uh,
really for the promotion to in the beginning, let's get it started. That's my immediate goal. My immediate objective is to meet with Secretary General Guterres, and my immediate goal is to start the movement. And yes, the all the up and coming women leaders and men, there's positions, and so that is a major segment of the plan.
you need to have a communication team. I mean,
Yes.
let me, because in my case, I mentioned to you about my my involvement in the work for peace and justice since I was a student, and I'm coming from a different experience because this is grassroots work, but it's also what you're doing. Although you're as of now you are like looking at the women leaders from all over the world as your base, no? That's what I see, no? But the point is, for you, or even for us, for what we did, like in order to oust the dictator Marcos in 1986, there were people who were in the front, and sadly, it's not really acknowledged even up to now. But there are strong teams, people doing the communication. When I say communication, there are so many aspects to it, no?
I
But
understand.
yeah, so if, for example, if you're talking of organizing so many women leaders who are also busy, we know that, then and you yourself, I'm sure, no, you, especially when this is taking off, you'll be very, very busy. So it's important to prepare the support team, let me call it that, support team, who will be um, doing much of the action. Whether I'm thinking like, where is your physical base? I'm an organization person, and in fact, I'll you haven't asked it, but what I do the work that I do to earn my income. So side by side with my peace activism, I have been working as an advisor, a paid advisor for developing organizations, developing strategic plans of civil society in the Philippines, and also helping out some of our women members in other countries in the Peace Women Partners, because in the Peace Women Partners, we have members from a number of countries. So the point is, well, I guess, I think I could contribute, no, also to the organizational aspect, because, like the vision, no, we are familiar with that, the vision, the mission, it's all very good, but we need the detailed plans, programs on how to really set it not only in motion, but to make it sustainable. That's the sustainable, no? That's the word that you did not mention it, but that's what you mean. You want this program to go on and on until
Yes.
it really succeeds. In
Exactly.
civil society or non-government organization language, it's sustainability. So, the funding part is very important. But even then, for me, actually I do write grant proposals. That's one of the things I do here in the Philippines. But even then, it's not only having the written proposal and the funding. Then you need the mechanism to make sure that the money will be spent in a very systematic way, because donors will be looking. So when you're talking to me about this plan, frankly, when I'll mention Attorney Cora Fabros, who is now one of the presidents, co-president of the International Peace Bureau. In 2005, we founded the Peace Women Partners. Actually, the peace, I must mention, no, is the reality. We are not directly sourcing the funding because all the women are busy. We don't have the time for it. But we have organized 2 international conferences attended by hundreds from many countries. No, so, but I mean, it's the process that we have done, and I know how challenging it is. No, but good for you, because I'm not my point is I'm just a civil society worker, and if I can say it, if the point is I have not worked to raise money for myself. I raise money for organizations. That's why I'm just a very ordinary, I will not say poor, but I'm just a very ordinary woman. And for the Peace Women Partners, there was a time that we were also raising funds, but since it was mostly a volunteer organization, we let it stay that way. However, there are limitations. We could have been much bigger if we had a bigger secretariat. But to be frank with you, we didn't, like Attorney Cora from the beginning, you know her, she's active in the Nuclear Free Philippines Coalition and also in the uh, Nuclear Free Pacific Coalition. Attorney Cora is into so many things. I myself, I have family to raise, women. And in fact, this is, for me, when I'm thinking of women leaders, it's not, of course, we have those like Naomi Klein or even Alice Walker. I have read their books. But I'm also thinking of the leaders on the ground, leaders in their own way, who have, in fact, a following, a base, because community women, like, for example, the Peace Women Partners, I'm proud to say, I relate with the women of Mindanao, and there are the tens of thousands of women. And of course, Attorney Virgie Suarez, although she's not here, she's with the Kaisa Ka, a loose translation is Unity of Women. In fact, they're much bigger because they really go into organizing. So the point is, I'm talking long term, no, because I know we know that even if there's an emergency, there's a lot that needs to be done if you want it to be long term. No, it cannot just be having the meeting like you like a match, you light a match, and then there's a flame, but afterwards it runs out of fuel. No, and well, for me, I really cannot, as of now, to be honest, I cannot say how much I can really give into this, but this is what I think. No, I'm familiar with movement building, organizing things. And so I have many questions,
Yes,
In that case, I will ask you questions because this is it. I agree with your plan. It's a very good plan. The world needs it. The
thank you.
question really is the devil is in the details.
Yes, and you've proven in your discussion just now how the systems are there, all the groups are already there. That was my first observation when I became a peace activist, was that all the groups are everywhere. Now, because of the emergency, to bring them all together and not just a flash of a match and then it goes out. So yes, I look at the plan as it being a macro plan and a micro plan. So today was the beginning, it was the macro elements. And yes, because you're busy, I've tried to simplify it. So to say, well, here's what my request is. Will you go into another Zoom meeting? But first, before that, get a few other women leaders to join. Maybe someone that you know, or the ones that I'm like
Okay.
Nalene Heiser. And then we can, over the next couple days, mark down your questions, and I have answers for the actual organization of the communications and for the leadership and for the lobbying of the governments. That's why the 8 segments are important. And there's a design for the flash and a design for sustaining it. So thank you. Yes, very astute of you. That's what's needed, no doubt about it. And
Yeah.
when
One question. Um,
yes,
uh, do you have any countries specifically that you're thinking about where women from what countries you want to reach
well,
out to?
yes, in the beginning, there's 2 templates that have come into existence. The first one was in 2015. A woman from the United States of Korean descent has started a group called Women Cross the DMZ. That's
Oh,
a
yes,
perfect
certain.
example of women coming together. They are already organized and they're trying to create peace in between South Korea and North Korea. And then there's Women Wage Peace in Israel. I've been in communication with the director of international organizations, and her name is Angela Scharf. And she wrote to me, she said, when you have this going, we are definitely interested. And because of the war in Gaza, and the war in Ukraine, I see it as that's where a focus in the beginning may be, but it's the women leaders now. When they come together, they'll be deciding on what is their position as lobbyists. They'll be asked to, when the time comes, when the people movement starts, to be the ones to go to the governments to influence the governments in their own country. And so it's a question of the bringing the women leaders together. This one step with the Secretary General, I'm asking him, I've simplified it for him because he's busy. Please, Mr. Secretary General, assemble one meeting. If that doesn't work, then there's not much more to do for you. And then, of course, if it starts, then I'll ask him to do other things. So the first element is to show that there's the means for the women to be successful is provided. And that's why I'm calling you now, is to help me with that one Zoom meeting. Then it goes to Mimi Kennedy and a Zoom meeting with her. Then I have a chain reaction of the celebrities that I'd asked to get to be in the beginning. And then I go to the Secretary General. So that's the steps that I'm asking for your help with right at this moment.
It's a pity that Dr. Rukama is not here because I'm sure she knows the women, the WWP in Israel.
Yes.
Because and in fact, Dr. Rukama herself is we can call her a woman celebrity because she's a an awardee of the alternative the alternative Nobel Prize, the Right Livelihood Award. Dr. Rukama
Wow.
is an awardee of that award, no?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So yes, that once it starts, it'll just keep getting larger and larger. That's my vision.
but then again, my suggestion to you would be even now to look for some people who will assist you in the secretariat support aspect.
Absolutely. I've been looking and everyone's busy. And until they see this actually happening, it's been very difficult. As you
Uh,
know, that's part of our
that's the challenge. If you know, even now, if you need some people who could like maybe even they could be students near you, like you're in Boston. I'm sure you could find some young people, students who could be sort of volunteers. But again, this is what I say as much as possible. If you have the resources, pay them, like maybe on a per hour basis or something.
yeah.
That would be the start for you building up the administrative support,
Yes.
because
I have all of that planned, Merci. It's just a question of
just a reminder.
one thing has to fall into place and then it's ready to go. I have because I'm a member of Women's International League. There's the local group here in Boston. Peace Group is very powerful in the United States.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
they know me, but they're not working with me on my project. They want me to work with them on their project. But I've done my work right now. It's ready to go. And I need you to help. So please consider, let me know if the Zoom meeting, and then if you can't, I have old contact information for Naileen Heiser. And then if you could perhaps just do that little research on how to find out how to contact her, the current
Uh, I
contact.
can send in the chat box the spelling of her name,
Oh,
so
sure.
can check. No. Although, what you said about the WILPF wanting you to join them, work with them, rather than them joining the this movement in the making. That will really be a challenge because different not it's only not in the women groups, no, but more so with the women. There are also a lot of groups existing.
Yeah, you're right.
So it cannot be that even in the Philippines, I can tell you, it cannot be that in the beginning, everybody will be, like very interested to join, we will really have to start, we call it core. We call it core building. We have to start with the core and then just move forward. So anyway, what is her nationality?
I think
Did you
she's
say,
from the Philippines.
are you sure about the spelling of the name? Sorry.
I'll Google it right now.
Because it doesn't look like a Filipino name. Uh, and what is her background?
Oh, I'm sorry, she's from Singapore.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why. I'm sorry, I was mistaken.
Okay. Anyway, well, not so far. So we could see, I'll also Google information about her and we'll see. Mhm.
Thank you. So yes, it calls for all the organization and all that. And yes, it'll be difficult to get Wilf. I know I've tried. I know I see where but the point is that they know about the plan. They know there's something here. Once they see it happening,
Yeah,
they'll all join. That's the vision.
I can imagine that if there's already like something, like if you have a fire, you start the fire, uh then others also will be, in fact, they will be offended if you don't invite them.
I
You know,
know,
that's the way it goes.
yes,
However, it's also my strategy in terms of the work that we're doing here in the Philippines. Like, well, I'm sure you also use it. Like, it's the basis of unity. We may not agree on everything, but there are certain points where we agree, and we will stick to that because you know, our world is so complex.
you're
So
exactly right.
yeah, you know, even for the Peace Women Partners, in fact, for me, what I can and I'll just clarify, Dr. Rukama Marton is a member of the Peace Women Partners. Attorney Virgis Suarez is not. She has another women's movement, and we just, you know, work together. But
Yes,
for me, on my part personally, after this discussion, I can uh I can like communicate with other active leaders from Peace Women Partners, and there are many of them, and just to inform them that there is this kind of initiative which is happening, you know,
all right,
because even for the members of the Peace Women Partners, we cannot also oblige them to join if they're not agreeing. But as I said, there may be a basis of unity where everyone or most or majority can unite.
all right.
Because
So I have,
I appreciate the urgency of what you're saying.
yes, thank you. So if we could meet in the next 3 days, say, for example, and then after that, we could have, that'll be a brief meeting just to answer a few questions. And then have a meeting, or if that's the time to have the meeting on some specifics of the Zoom meeting with Mimi Kennedy. And there'll be two other women that from Women's International League that are on the Disarm Committee in the United States. They're the co-chairs, and they'll be joining us on the Zoom meeting. So there'll be 5, 6 people, 7 people on the Zoom for Mimi Kennedy. And it'll be a rather short meeting, so I know everyone's busy. It'll be, I'll have a 5 to 10 minute presentation, and then ask everyone to make a statement, and that would be it. So we can talk about that at the next meeting. Is that fine for you? Could you meet in the next 3 days? So today's the 23rd. So by on Tuesday or Wednesday, 26th.
Be better for me. Uh, it's not 3 days. It will be a fourth day, but Wednesday will be better for me.
Oh, Wednesday would be better? Okay.
And I'll try to invite, well, Dr. Okama and Virgie, maybe. We could, if you could immediately send the recording, well, of course, not like not tonight, but as
Yes,
soon as possible so that they can listen. And
yes,
then just, just invite them on that meeting. Especially for, well, for me, because now we know that the very urgent issue is about Palestine, then Dr. Rukama, also with her background, you know, uh, I could say that it will be good for her to get also the media exposure. You heard her message, no? Of course, Attorney Virgie is also very qualified. I just don't know how busy she is. That's why,
yes. And
because
that's,
she's handling court cases, you know.
but
She
that's
handled,
why I've tried to simplify this, perhaps. Dr. Rukama is important for the Zoom meeting. You would be important because you see the whole picture, that it's such a grand, it's a big idea. And that's what my main message is, that I'd ask you to promote, that it's a big idea and it's worth trying. I'm this close. Let's try. That's my request. Thank you.
thank you.
And
Uh,
very nice talking with you. I'm going to send you an email with so you can see in writing in a 3-page document the plan, okay, called an emergency plan. And then there's also some of the support statements and quotes that influence me and why I continue and why this is urgent. Thank you,
yeah.
Merci.
So I can share these materials with Dr. Rukama and Attorney Virgie.
Absolutely, yes.
Only with the two of them first, no? Although with the PWP, if it's okay
Yeah,
with you later, I'll start
No,
talking with them.
not WWP yet, because let's organize our strategy with WWP. Thank you, and salamat.
Salamat, and God make you strong in
Thank-
order to really make this plan come true. I think it's important for people in the world to really look at the big picture and unite together
Thank
for
you. Thank you.
non-violence. Thank you, and
Bye-bye.
thank you for giving me this information, and I wish you a happy weekend tomorrow.
Yes, thank you. You too. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Yes. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night, but good morning to you.
Yes, I'll close the
Okay. But for me, dinner time. Bye-bye.